Pro-life Americans are celebrating two victories this week. In Tennessee, the only abortion clinic in Nashville has temporarily stopped performing abortions. An official says the center is, quote, undergoing in a period of quality improvement, end quote. And in Ohio, the state Senate there approved a measure to ban abortion after a heartbeat is detected in the womb. The bill now moves to the House. The governor-elect says he will sign it if he's in office by the time it reaches his desk. Joining me now is Alison, Centofante, Director of Strategic Communications for Live Action, a national pro-life organization dedicated to ending abortion. Okay, Alison, let's start with Ohio, because Governor Kasich has vetoed this legislation known as the Heartbeat Bill in the past, and he's promised to veto it again if it comes to his office. But we have a new pro-life governor coming in. What do you expect will happen?
Sure. Well, I'm excited by this news. Ohio has heart. They truly fought for 8 years for this bill, and the Heartbeat Bill acknowledges that when a heartbeat is detected, that there's life there, and we know that life begins at fertilization. But Ohio has been fighting for the acknowledgement of life at a heartbeat, which is a small step towards what we ultimately want. And so I was on the phone with Ohio pro-life leaders this morning who are deeply involved in this piece of legislation, and they said the fight continues. But what's worked for them is consistency and solid pro-life messaging, that in society, if we acknowledge that the end of life is when a heartbeat is lost, we've got to also acknowledge that there's a life there when a heartbeat's detected.
That seems to be the key. Even if this bill doesn't go through or if it's vetoed, there's still going to be that pro-life push in Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely. So they have two options right now. They can delay the vote until Mike DeWine becomes governor, and he is strongly pro-life. He said that he would sign it, which would be great. Or if Governor Kasich does vote and vetoes it, then they can try and get 60 votes to overturn his veto. So they're going to keep fighting. Ohio's a great state, and this is a good bill that pushes us closer and closer to acknowledging when life begins.
Okay, so that's an important case. Let's turn to Tennessee. One reason Planned Parenthood says it has temporarily stopped abortions in Nashville is the lack of providers. So does that mean we're seeing fewer medical professionals who are willing to carry out abortions?
We are. Well, statistics show that there are less and less medical doctors willing to do abortions. Even medical students that are coming up are saying, it's not something I didn't get into medicine to do this. I got into medicine to heal, to help, to flourish for life, not to end life. And so that's a good thing. These OBGYNs that are performing abortions, they are seeing firsthand exactly what we know, what this procedure looks like. And when people find out what this procedure looks like, that it involves the dismemberment of a preborn child, the poisoning, the tearing apart of that body, and the ending of its life, they back away from it and oftentimes change their mind on whether they're pro-abortion or not, and surely don't want to partake in the procedure.
Okay, so these two cases were at state levels here. How do you think all of this helps in the larger fight at the federal level against Roe v. Wade?
Well, it's exciting that pro-lifers at the state level have taken up creative solutions to helping women so that they're not only going to Planned Parenthoods and abortion clinics and hearing about death and abortion and how alone you are, but are instead saying we need to support women in pregnancy with better options and acknowledging life. So these do, specifically the Heartbeat Bill in Ohio, is more set up to challenge Roe v. Wade. There are a lot of cases on the way to the Supreme Court that could challenge Roe v. Wade's blanket permission of abortion through all 9 months in our country. So I'm excited by it. I think it's a good thing, and it's starting the right discussions on a state level, because if Roe v. Wade is overturned, which we'd like to see happen, this discussion goes back to the states. So we have to be ready to have these conversations.
Your group, Live Action, is one of the groups that met with White House officials last month. You're pushing for defunding Planned Parenthood. This was, of course, one of President Trump's campaign promises, but it's been difficult. 2 years later, even with a GOP-controlled Congress, it still hasn't been done. Is all hope lost at this point?
No, absolutely not. This president fights, and he said he would defund Planned Parenthood. It's something he ran on, and it's, I think, why a lot of pro-lifers maybe put their support behind him. So what we've been doing at Live Action and with other student groups, Students for Life and other pro-life groups, we've been encouraging the president, do what you said you'll do. Defund Planned Parenthood. You've already said you are willing to veto any funding bill that doesn't fund your wall. And what we've been encouraging is to add on defunding Planned Parenthood. We need to build a wall of separation between our taxpayer dollars and Planned Parenthood. There are so many reasons to defund this abortion Goliath. The fact that they're currently under DOJ investigation for the sale of baby body parts is one. That investigation is still ongoing. But also, we're encouraging that the president sees that when we prop up this abortion Goliath with $500 million of taxpayer funds every year, we allow its other donors to fund its political campaigns that work against him and the pro-life politicians here in D.C.
So many important issues here to cover, and obviously, like I say, the grassroots level is so important, whether it's the state or the federal level. Alison Centofante, Director of Strategic Communication for Live Action. Thanks so much.
Thank you.